Hey everyone, back to another exciting episode of Deck Productions. I got Trevor here. It's been a while. Hello. He has a deck profile, a really fun one. And yes, I understand that Zenkai is out, but we had pre-release, so we didn't actually have Zenkai-based decks. This is a really fun deck that I was interested in building, so I'm glad Trevor brought it here. It is Beerus. Reboot. So, like always, buttons down below. Feel free to click there for a reason. Let's get into his profile.
Yeah. So, Beerus leader. On this side, you have to attack a leader to get the auto. It cannot be any card. Basically, just forces you to actually help your opponent, unfortunately, on this side. But when you attack, you either draw a card or you KO one of your opponent's battle cards when you cost of 2 or less. Occasionally, you'll use the 2 or less KO on specific matchups, but usually you're going to draw a card. Awaken is either 4 life or 4 energy. Hybrid Awaken, draw 1, restand 1. On this side, honestly, his permanent just scares opponents, which is great. Whenever you would deal damage to an opponent that has 4 or less life, then you can choose, instead of them taking the life, to charge any card from your drop area into your energy in rest mode. A lot of times you'll use Sensu Bean because extra cards go immediately into your drop. So if you didn't have anything in your drop, now you do, and you got a 20k at your opponent. Auto when this card attacks, either draw 1 or KO something 3 or less. Usually going to draw 1, occasionally you may 3 or less. Activate main, tap 16, you win the game. This is actually your main win con, but occasionally your opponents know that's coming, so they'll try and force you to die before then, expend all their resources, and then you kill them naturally. The linchpin of the deck is Weast Destruction's Aid. You run 4 of these. Hopefully you see them. I didn't until turn 2 or 3. Ideally, you want this turn 1, especially if you go first. You'll tap 1, you'll play it, you draw it. Following turn, you'll charge, you'll tap 2, and you'll put this guy in your energy in rest mode. Now you're at 3 energy on turn 2. Turn 4, you charge 1, you go into your unison. You already know what unison it's going to be.
There's a really big glare, that's why I moved it.
I gotcha. I like to do my deck profiles a little different than other people. I do my super combos early, just to kind of go over them. I run 1 Vegeta, because occasionally you need to draw 2 cards, and then 3 Zenos. The Zenos just allow you to comfortably charge like good negates that you're going to need later in the game, so that you can pick it up and put it back down. Just make sure you're properly setting up your energy to get that off. I almost never tap 1 to draw 1 and play it, because so much removal in the game, you might lose your super combo effect on the defense. So then we have 4 of the Boo Unison. This is another linchpin of the deck. Plus the ±0, everybody knows why it's so good. Draw a card, restand 1, sets you up for your defensive plays on your opponent's turn. You can play this turn 3 if you actually play your Weast Destruction's Aid, because you'll be at 4 energy on turn 3 very comfortably. -1 bottom deck, 1 double strike blocker. Really, you almost never swing with this, and if you are, you're swinging at your opponent's unison. We run 4D Magic because I play stupid defensive in this deck. Basically, you're just trying to hold out for tap 16 or to make your opponent use an absolute butt ton of their resources. Everybody knows what D-Magic does, or at least I hope they do. Vegeta Ready to Rumble. This combined with Boo is phenomenal, because you'll have 2 blocks to make them drop 2 of their energy off his auto, and you negate the attack. Assuming he doesn't get rested off effects, but just phenomenal card. Shuts down people's turn. I run 1 Mafuba because I like the way it looks, and on occasion it can come in handy. Main thing is, has to be a battle card. I run 2 Chilled Army. You know why? Token blocker, negate. A lot of times you'll actually tap 2 for it, because you'll have the energy up, because you don't really play much on your turn. Baby's Minion, Floodgate. They have to bottom deck 1 each time they swing. It'll also be a 25k swing on your turn, so more unison removal. You're never swinging at your opponent's turn unless you're going for game. 1 Vegeta the Interceptor, more removal. This one's free. As far as like the removal goes. Dual attack, again, 20k, double swing at your opponent's unison. I don't like unisons. You can also clear their opponent's board. Just don't swing at their leader. Keep their resources in their hand low until you go to kill. Game has a lot of boss monsters. I like using Dirty Burst. Tap 2, draw a card. Your opponent can't swing with 7 or more. You can use this against Android Turning the Tide. You can use this against any of the big boss monsters. This card's going to be huge in the next set to deal with Sin Shinron and Gogeta, because it affects the opponents themselves, not the cards. I run 1 Isekai Keeping Watch. Basically, you hope to see this if you don't see your Whis turn 1, because at least you'll draw a card, and it shuts down your opponent's counterplays that actually play cards. Well, it doesn't, but it'll definitely make them actually pay for it. 4 Sensu Bean. Some lists like to use 3. I really like 4, just to sometimes double Sensu Bean, just to get my energy set up the way I want it to going into my opponent's turn. Since so many of your cards that you're playing are a high energy cost, it helps just to have it brought up to 5, 8. Those are like your main energies that you want to be at. I run 2 Realm of the Gods, Beerus Destroys. This is mostly used on defense so that you can actually draw a card. You can use it on offense, but a lot of the time I found my opponents are using their negates on my leader swing, which is perfectly fine with me, because they don't want me ramping a card. Three Baby Golden Avenger. This might be a little high. You probably get away with 2. I just really like seeing it because in later turns you have so much energy that you can actually play 2 of these sometimes on, like, somebody tries to counter your counterplay, you counter that because you have 10 energy to work with because you've chosen not to use the energy on other plays, and you just completely destroy their board. You go into their turn, now you have 2 triple strikers at 30k to deal with them. You can either go for kill with it, or you can again destroy unison. Kale. Finally, this card's affordable, so I bought a couple of them. I think you could probably run 3 of these and 2 apes instead. I only have 2, but this card is played without using skills. You choose one. You're always going to tap 5 for it in this deck. You're going to have plenty of energy. Choose all of your opponent's cards. Pop one. Because you'll have the 7 energy, you'll have this effect. You place all of them at the bottom of the deck, ignoring barrier. This card gains barrier, so it has deflect, barrier, and dual attack, double strike. This, a lot of the times, is actually, if I go for kill, like actually take their life, this is usually how I'll end up doing it. A lot of the times I will use Turning the Tide into Kale. So if they have a wide board, it's fine. You just play this, you get rid of their hand and your hand. Well, you play this first, then you play this. Blow up their board, blow up their hand, crit, double strike, dual attack. The guy that played this and topped with it never swings at opponents. He only taps 16 to win, but there are a lot of opportunities I found where I could literally just win with this. And I did tonight. The reason that Beerus is playable is good old SS4 Vegeta. If you played against SS4 Vegeta, the leader, you're probably well acquainted with this card. You play him for 6, he's a blocker. Then you look at top 4, choose amongst the blue cards. You either add them to your hand, any remaining you place into your energy and active mode. So a lot of times you will look at top 4, you will go, okay, that's fine. And you just put all 4 in your energy, so you have Vegeta ready to rumble. Or you could, if you have Boo on board, you'll be at 5, so your apes available at that time too, going into your opponent's turn. It's just stupid good. You have a blocker here, you have a blocker on Boo Unison, you play the Vegeta ready to rumble. Now you have 3 blockers and a bottom deck, and they have to play through Vegeta ready to rumble. They're losing at least 3-4 energy, depending on how you play it out. I run 2 God Sealing. I think this is more than enough. You want to be negating your opponent's attacks. You want to force them into using their resources. These are just for key cards. Say your opponent needs a card to awaken later in the game because they've missed it all game. This just stops it. A lot of the new set has a bunch of deflect on all the boss monsters, so this card's getting more and more out of meta, even though it was the meta for a long time. I play 1 Tragedy Overground because it can literally just win you the game. If your opponent's playing a battle card, energy cost 4 or more, it is placed into their energy instead. Decks that don't have low to the ground battle card support are just losing from this. Because at that point, they literally just can't play the game and they have to kill you through leader swings or unison swings. And since this deck has the ability to hit 12, 13 energy, you can play Tragedy safely because you can play Vegeta Ready to Rumble or Gohan Baby's Minion on the leader and unison swings. And then, as of right now, I'm playing Hatch. It literally just earns you a turn. If you're at 15 energy, congratulations, you win the game because you play this on your opponent's turn. You're at 15, your turn, 16, tap 16, win the game.
The keyword is earns. You earned that.
You earned the win.
Yeah, you earned that that extra turn off a Hatch.
I am gonna, if I play this deck more next set, I think I'm gonna try around with the Goku because you can literally tap 6, play Vegeta, tap 2, play the West Kai that can be used as energy, tap 2, play the Goku, restand everything, tap 6, play the Vegeta, tap 6 again, play the Vegeta, and now you're at 16 energy. It's kind of nutty. The only issue is you have to make sure that you have the resources to get through your opponent's next turn if you don't have Hatch. But I think it'll be neat. I really hate playing against Unisons, as you can probably tell, because I'm tired of seeing Gohan and Frieza. So you're going to see more of that hate in my sideboard. If they basically force me into not swinging at their Unisons, if they use their minus effect, thanks to Bancroft for showing me this card and his most recent profile because I did not know existed. Activate battle, remove a marker. Now it no longer has triple attack, or it no longer has that triple strike. If somebody's running the Gohanks Unison, no longer has its stuff either. Phenomenal card. You're going to have the 2 energy. Again, you almost play nothing on your turn. You're almost exclusively playing on their turn unless you need to clear up their board. Right now I have Kaba in here. I don't know how I feel about this card in this deck. I think it's great if you play a lot of Baby's Minion because they'll likely stick on the board because they have 25k and it's hard for people to swing into them if they're not removing them because they usually don't care. But you can tap 5 for it, but I don't know if it's worth tapping 5 for it. This is a card I'm not sure about. You could probably replace it. Never Recited the Sin. It's a pretty card. It's counterattack, deadly defender basically. Your opponent has to swing into this if it's in rest mode. It's 20k, triple strike, going into your turn. It's just more protection for your leader. I run 1 Champa because you can, if your leader swing gets through and you use Champa, you can ramp 2 cards from your drop into your energy. So it can ramp 2. You just have to make sure that you are saying you choose your leader and it gains double strike. Is that what this one is? No, it's just, yeah, choose one of your attacking cards. So you choose your leader. Don't choose other stuff. Make sure you choose the leader so that whenever you go to deal damage, you say, I will instead charge 2 energy for my drop area in rest mode. 1 extra chill if you feel you need if you feel like you're playing against a more aggressive deck, I think this is actually really good to have because they're going to get you to 5, 4 really quick, and you're not going to have any energy turn 1 and 2. So you need it to get through those more hectic turns. So 2 in the main board plus 1 more if you need it. I run 2 Great Saiyamans. I've heard this card's really good against Cell. I've not played against Cell, so I don't know why it's good against Cell. I've just heard it is. It's because I haven't played it or played against it that often. But it's Deflect, Barrier, Blocker, Revenge. So you just block the Cell swing. I run 2 Intersecting Fates in the sideboard. If you're playing against another blue player, this is just great because you can comfortably use it without any issue. Later turns, you just need to see more cards, draw more cards. 1 extra trunks, just in case, if you want to put it in. I almost never do, but it's there. Play against Go Tall decks. This card's great. If you get your Boo Unison set up, you have the 1 energy to play him. It just works really well against those decks. I think if this is actually going to be a replacement for some other cards going into the next set, because a lot of decks are cheating out stuff really easy. 3 costs, 5 costs, 4 costs. So these guys are great in those early turns against those decks. This is purely a local meta selection. Can also be good at tournaments. Jimmy really brought this card to light to me. You play this against U7. They burst their secret rare, they burst their Goku. You tap 1, you play this, you draw a card, and then you choose that Vegeta or Goku out of their drop, put it back into their deck. Now all of a sudden they have to choose, do I keep on my unawakened side and keep bursting and risk decking out to get this guy back in there? Or do they just try and play through it through other means? This card's just phenomenal against that deck.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it, Trevor. And you got what?
We don't know.
You did 2-1 though today, right?
I did 2-1.
All right, yeah. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep on his buttons down below. Feel free to click there for a reason. Read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.